Good to be with you from Taiwan again tonight. I'm Tony DeCopo. The breaking news right now. The handshake seen around the world. Presidents Trump and Xi face-to-face in China for the first time in 8 years. They agree to trade deals and the importance of reopening the Strait of Hormuz, but tensions arise over Taiwan, with Xi warning a disagreement could lead to an extremely dangerous place. What happens next? We're in the capital city, Taipei, speaking with everyone from citizens to a top national security official.
The fact of the matter, there's only one country right now mishandling the situation.
And America's affordability crisis. How did food pantries, once a temporary source of help for families in need, become a crucial lifeline for a growing number of Americans? Also developing hantavirus in the U.S., more than 40 Americans now being monitored for the deadly virus, what the CDC is saying tonight. And the teens who saved a stranger's life on the side of the road. Plus a sneak peek at a star-studded FIFA halftime show.
This is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopo, reporting tonight from Taipei, Taiwan.
And good evening from Liberty Square here in Taipei, here in the capital of Taiwan. People are watching the summit between the leaders of the U.S. and China perhaps more closely than anywhere else in the world. And that's because China considers this self-governing island to be a breakaway province, and it intends to reclaim it. That was the big headline from day one. Chinese state media saying that President Xi warned Mr. Trump that if the situation is mishandled, it could plunge the relationship between our two countries into an extremely dangerous place. In a moment, what Taiwan is doing to deter a potential Chinese invasion. But we're going to begin with senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang in Beijing with day 2 of the summit expected to begin very soon there. Weijia, good evening.
Good evening, Tony. Presidents Trump and Xi continue to put on a public display of diplomacy through extravagant events. But in private, Xi told Trump that Taiwan is the most important issue in the U.S.-China relationship. And you're right, he also warned that mismanagement could lead to consequences.
Thank you, everybody.
President Trump was the guest of honor at a lavish state banquet to cap off his first full day in China's capital.
I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome.
Dining on Beijing roast duck and tiramisu. It was a day filled with pageantry as he and President Xi Jinping strolled the red carpet outside the Great Hall of the People amidst a military parade and hundreds of flag-waving schoolchildren. Then came the main event, a meeting between the two leaders that lasted over 2 hours.
It's an honor to be your friend, and the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before.
But Xi warned Trump that the relationship could be in jeopardy on the issue of Taiwan, saying handling it improperly could lead to clashes and even conflicts. China has long sought reunification of the self-governing island and has not ruled out taking it by force. The U.S. has sold billions of dollars in weapons to the Taiwanese.
We think it would be a terrible mistake to force that through force or anything of that nature. There would be repercussions for that globally, not just from the United States.
On the war in Iran, the White House said Xi agreed the Strait of Hormuz must remain open. China buys up to 90% of Iran's total oil exports. President Trump was asked about China's military support for Iran and the reported sale of components for missiles and drones used in the war.
He said he's not going to give military equipment. That's a big statement. He said that today. That's a big statement. He said that strongly.
President Trump was also hoping to go home with new deals. On American beef, China has agreed to approve export licenses for 400 U.S. processing plants. And in a new interview, Trump says Xi has agreed to purchase more soybeans, liquefied natural gas, and 200 Boeing jets. Tony.
All right, Weijia, thank you very much. In another notable moment, President Xi also suggested that the U.S. and China must reject the old idea that a rising power is destined to battle with an established one. But China does see Taiwan as part of its destiny, and it's willing to take it over by force if required, which is why here in Taipei, people are following news of the summit and, with the help of American weapons, preparing for a possible attack.
In what's become a regular show of military power, including missiles, live fire, and simulated assaults by air and sea, China's message has been clear. Taiwan is ours, and we can take it anytime we like. And now Taiwan is taking that threat more seriously. Vincent Chow from Taiwan's National Security Council explained why the island is spending more than ever on the military.
It's not designed to provoke war. I mean, these are defensive capabilities. I mean, all of this is actually designed so that there will be no war.
Designed not to provoke war, but to deter war?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be able to prevent China from ever waking up one day and realizing that, or thinking that today may be a good day to invade.
In Taipei, the Taiwanese capital, life goes on, with most believing China's threat to a democratic Taiwan is serious, but not imminent.
I'm not too worried about it. They have other things to take care of first in their country.
And yet more and more Taiwanese are using this time to prepare. The annual War Games, now larger than ever. And at a market downtown, we met Grace, one of a growing number of civilians preparing themselves to dress wounds and ward off attackers.
Are you worried that Xi Jinping will take Taiwan by force?
If he attack Taiwan, Taiwan to be strong. So
Would
against
fight back.
him, fight back.
Are you ready to fight?
Yes, I'm prepared to fight.
Either way, the threat of China is felt all over this island. One woman slapped her husband's arm when he started talking to us about independence. Another woman asked that her words not be used, telling us we cannot speak freely. And even at our hotel, where after seeing our broadcast last night, the manager told us we can't cover anything political on their property. We will, however, hear more local opinions on China later in the broadcast. Also, some folks here are comparing the threat from China to the one Ukraine has faced from Russia, which has launched 2 straight days of intense attacks. Today's assault on the capital city, Kyiv, involved a heavy barrage of missiles and drones, and it left at least 9 people dead and dozens wounded. Aiden Stretch has details from Kyiv.
I'm at the site of a 9-story apartment block that was completely destroyed in the attacks. Emergency workers have been here all day, using cranes and other heavy machinery to dig through the rubble here. We've seen the dead carried away in body bags. Dozens of residents have been rescued, many badly injured, while the search continues for those still missing in this scene of utter devastation. Ukrainian officials say this was Russia's largest missile and drone attack over a 2-day period since its full-scale invasion began in 2022. President Zelensky said that 1,500 drones and dozens of cruise missiles were launched at the capital and other cities around the country. These attacks come after both President Trump and Putin said this week that the war might soon be coming to an end. Tony?
Aiden, thank you very much. We have new reporting tonight on America's affordability crisis. In recent days, we've heard from consumers and business owners, and tonight we look at the growing reliance on food pantries. Our Jason Allen is in Carrollton, Texas. That's outside of Dallas with more tonight. Good evening, Jason.
Hey, good evening, Tony. You know, MetroCrest Services got these 50-pound bags of carrots, these boxes of Anaheim peppers in today. The coolers they all stay in. Well, those could be empty again in a day and a half. 3/4 of the nation's food banks right now are seeing the same or increased demand from where they were a year ago.
Families are flooding back to food pantries across the country. In Baldwin Park, California, dozens of cars lined up Wednesday for a food drive co-hosted by the LA Regional Food Bank. In Pittsburgh, a pantry A.J. Owen started out of his front yard last fall, has expanded into a program that will stay open through the summer.
We're going to do this until we can feed all the kids this summer. Nobody's going hungry this summer in Pittsburgh.
Americans in neighborhoods large and small are pitching in. Prices are rising faster than paychecks now. For the first time in 3 years, Wissam Youssef, a father of 5, first turned to a food pantry in Carrollton, Texas when his wife was out of work a year ago.
I always pick up the healthy food. Like example for this, the lentil here.
But he's had to keep coming.
So to feed your family,
yes,
are you relying on a place like this now?
I could say 65%, yes.
65% of what you need is coming from a place like this?
Because at the end of the month, we kind of like now living check by check, you know what I mean?
Are you making difficult decisions right now at home on where you spend your money?
of course, I have to look for the cheapest place now. Like sometime I never used to go to Dollar Tree. Now I go to Dollar Tree.
This section used to have all of our canned meat.
Casey McMahon showed us the empty shelves that usually hold canned chicken or tuna, protein sources that are in high demand. The average family that used to need help for 8 to 12 weeks, he says, now needs it for closer to 7 or 8 months.
So you noticed people relying on you not just for a month at a time to get through, but
Right.
a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think when folks think of food pantries, they think of an immediate crisis that brings someone to the doors. What we're seeing is a long-term crisis. Things are just not adding up at the end of the month.
The warehouse looks full, I know, but MetroCrest is expecting to see higher demand as we get into the summer months because they say people usually burn through their savings before they start looking for help buying items like this. Tony, the U.S. savings rate is down to its lowest rate in 4 years.
Jason Allen with the new reality for many American families. Jason, thank you very much. We're going to turn now to the growing concerns over the hantavirus, with at least 16 more people who were not aboard that cruise ship now being monitored for infection. 16 other Americans who were aboard that ship are under quarantine in Nebraska, and our Lana Zach is there with an update.
The number of people being monitored for hantavirus in the U.S. is now 41, according to the CDC. There are 18 passengers from the cruise ship being monitored in Nebraska and Georgia, and 7 who had returned home before the outbreak was identified. And today we learned about 16 people who are in the U.S. who may have been exposed on flights to one symptomatic passenger. Their exact travel routes and current location remain unclear. But there is some good news. Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, a passenger who helped care for sick patients on the ship, has transferred from the biocontainment unit to quarantine at University of Nebraska Medical Center. Dr. Angela Hewlett oversees his care.
He has been retested and has tested negative by PCR on 2 different occasions.
Dr. Kornfeld now joins 15 others here in quarantine, including Jake Rossmarin.
We have a dresser and a fridge.
A travel influencer who will spend a total of 42 days in quarantine.
Are there any events or things that you're missing while you're stuck in quarantine?
I was supposed to go to my cousin's wedding in Italy, and unfortunately I won't be making that, so I feel terrible, but it's the right decision.
But you have your own wedding to look forward to?
Yes. When I was in my darkest place on that ship, we had a wedding planning call. It was so nice to have a moment of normalcy and to not feel like I was stuck in that little box on a ship with so much unknown.
Now, none of the patients here in quarantine are symptomatic, but the French ministry tells CBS News that their hantavirus patient remains in serious condition. Tony?
All right, Lana, thank you very much. We turn now to South Florida to a story that involves 3 teenage boys, a trip to McDonald's, and a cell phone, and how it all suddenly added up to a life-changing moment. Here's Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman.
When 3 South Florida teenagers spotted Diego Fernandez Delgado struggling to change a busted tire, they approached him, soon realizing the 65-year-old wasn't just having car trouble.
You okay? All the rescue's here to check you out, okay?
He was having a heart attack. Police body cam footage shows that scene. Delgado, knees buckled from the pain. He'd asked the boys, Logan Royer, Cody Magrone, and Brody Murray, to call 911.
There was an old guy on the side of the road. We're helping change his tire, and he did not feel good at all.
On the line, they helped the dispatcher guide in those first responders. And as Delgado was being tended to, they even loaded his jack and tire back into his truck. The 3 teens are being hailed as heroes today by the Broward County Sheriff, cited first for their compassion. Delgado's phone was completely out of battery and unable to move. He prayed for help. His son says instead of an angel, he got 3 teenage boys. Tony.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Still ahead from Taiwan, the story of that crash landing in the Atlantic. The pilot speaks out for the first time, what he realized as the plane hit the water. Ten passengers survived a plane crash in the Atlantic Ocean this week thanks to the actions of its pilot. In his only interview so far, that pilot and one of his passengers recounted the ordeal. Here's CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides.
We don't know if he can make it to shore.
Olympia Auten and her niece are among 11 people miraculously rescued at sea after their twin-engine turboprop crash landed.
When the plane come down, the plane hit. They said, bam, everybody will be seat.
Auten, who's recovering in a Florida hospital, credits 43-year-old Bahamian pilot Ian Nixon for saving lives. Speaking only to CBS News, Nixon says the small aircraft suddenly lost both engines.
Basically lost all navigation, all radios.
He conducted the emergency landing in open waters.
Once we hit the water, I think my first thought was, we didn't die. We didn't die, let's get out.
Nixon quickly got everyone onto a life raft, and Auten, who doesn't know how to swim, says she watched the aircraft sink as they waited for 5 hours in stormy weather.
We just with the long water. Nobody was around. And I say, oh Lord, I pray God somebody find us, somebody see us, somebody see us, somebody see us.
They were rescued hours later by an elite U.S. Air Force unit.
They made a declaration, in 10 minutes the plane is going to come. And then one of the passengers say, hold on, did I hear something?
Oh, when I see the helicopter, that's when I release. I say, oh, thank you, Jesus, we get saved, we get saved, we get saved.
Both grateful to be alive.
We never know who's going to make it. But thank God we make it.
Another incredible part about this rescue, that Air Force unit is specifically trained in search and rescue, and they were conducting exercises just 15 minutes away from the crash site when they got the call. Tony?
Went from training to the real thing. Christian Benavides, thank you very much. Up next, the sudden disaster in an Ohio neighborhood. What caused that? A small plane crashed into a home in Akron, Ohio today. Smoke billowed from the place as first responders rushed to the scene. Police say the crash killed 2 people, both of them on board the plane. No other injuries. Emergency crews evacuated 2 nearby homes. In Florida, a sheriff's deputy responding to a call of a suspicious person yesterday got out of his car and was quickly ambushed by a man wielding a knife. The man stabbed the officer's bulletproof vest several times before running into the woods nearby. He was later arrested. The officer, just minor injuries, as police say the vest saved his life. The 2026 World Cup final is taking a cue from the Super Bowl, and for the first time will feature a star-studded halftime show. That's Shakira, who is slated to perform at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium on July 19th. Madonna and the K-pop band BTS will also take the stage. It's a bargain if you're watching on TV, as the few seats still available are going for about $33,000. Up next, the message we're hearing on the streets of Taiwan. We're back live from Liberty Square, where the message we heard on the streets today was not against the people of China, but against their government and against communism. Do you want an independent Taiwan or a reunified Taiwan?
50-50. We want to unify, but we don't want to follow the communist system.
You want to be part of China, but not part of communism?
Yes, that's right.
Which is why the rivalry on display this week between China and the U.S. may feel familiar. Not so long ago, communism had failed in the old Soviet Union, while democracy, it seemed, had proven itself once and for all. But now here comes China, and as then U.S. Ambassador Nicholas Burns said in 2024, it's a new battle for the future. A battle being fought by Jimmy Lai, a wealthy businessman and democracy activist in Hong Kong, now serving 20 years in prison for what China calls sedition. Before his sentence, he told our Holly Williams why the fight is worth it.
I mean, you have a wonderful city, prosperity.
That's what Chinese think, that they think that we just have a body, we don't have a soul. You guys just make money, have a good life. Don't think about politics, don't think about freedom, don't think about human rights, don't think about rule of law. Just eat, enjoy life.
Why is that not enough?
Because we are human beings, we have soul, we are not a dog.
And when you step back, that is the bigger picture this week, not just which superpower walks away with a mightier military or a larger economy, but whose ideas should lead the future. That's another day in America and the world. I'm Tony DeCopel in Taipei, Taiwan. Good night.